Sounds like a dog is at the door. All right. I think we are live. This is going to be an overview. I think we're live now. This is going to be an overview of my recent BMI royalty statement. For those who don't know, before we get into it, this is an episode of my podcast, Syncrets to Success, here on YouTube. This is episode 154, I believe, somewhere up there. And this is a podcast about sync licensing, my musical journey, trailer music, networking, making connections, but all centered around creating music, producing music for sync and trailers. So this is actually my latest royalty statement. I think it came out last month of this year. And I'm going to just go over some things, what I think about when I'm reviewing my statements every quarter, how I try to use that to move forward. Also, before we get into that, this podcast is sponsored by the great team over at ASTS, who make some great sounds for us to use in our music productions. They actually make some really great horror sounding libraries and plugins and sounds for us. So definitely check out the links in the description. Also check out some sync bonuses, some free sync bonuses, including a school community that I'm launching, where I'm going to dive in deeper in that school community of how I produce projects I'm working on, things like that. So tune in for all of that. Now let's get into this statement. First on page 2, page 1 is basically, I have it all redacted here because of the it shows account information and some personal information that I don't want to have, at least in this video. But page 2 gives you a little quick blurb, some paragraphs about some things to remember about earnings and international earnings and things like that. I won't read through all of that. And then we're going to get to page 3. This is where the numbers start. So I start to analyze what's working, what's not working, what sounds are being used. So in this case, over here, it will tell me the series, maybe the count. And I don't know exactly what all these numbers mean either. But it'll tell me the song, which is the title of the track. This I can use to now go into whether I have a database or record collecting, or if I know the library that this is with, if it's with the exclusive library, which in this case it is, then I can go and say, okay, this is getting me, some money now, so maybe I should start making more of this style. So I'll talk more about that when I go through the statement. But Eyes in the Dark, placed on Dateline NBC. This episode, Haunted House Confession. The work number BI typically means background instrumental. In this case, I use 15 seconds. 20 to 25, period 1. Maybe that's first quarter. I'm not sure that. My percentage. So if I had worked on this and collaborated with other artists, I would have a different percentage. But my percentage in this case is 100%. And then the part that no one really knows how to calculate this stuff, there's no one formula fits all, because I've seen some uses where it'll be 15 seconds and it'll be hundreds of dollars, it'll be 15 seconds and it'll be pennies to the dollar. So you just don't know. You can't really bank on, I'm going to get $41 every quarter for this song to be used on the show. You can't really do that. So this is all just going to be bonus income. So I'm going to share some thoughts as I'm going through this statement. But $41 is actually not too bad. As you'll see when we'll scroll down, you're going to get to some, pennies for probably more usages. But 15 seconds for $41, that's actually pretty good. This is probably during prime time. You see the current activity, total, theme bonus, total. This was not a theme song. If there was a theme song, it would be more. And then, of course, U.S. performance. You see how some of that breaks down there. But overall, $41 for that. We're going to go to some cable television here. We're looking at Sold on Bravo, SLC. This was Cues. Again, this is from the same library as the first one. Thou Shalt Confront Thy Sins. Again, this is longer. See how this is a background instrumental, 31 seconds. The first one was 15 seconds. But 822, and I get 50% of that, meaning if I had 100%, it would be 1644. So much less than the $41 there. Scrolling down, we have CNBC, Dateline NBC, Slowly Escaping. This was 14 seconds use, and that was $1.30. So there you go. As we scroll down, this is pretty decent. 2508, 25. All this adds up to 62.99. This was interesting when I told my wife, I was like, I think I got some music, and I haven't watched all of these shows. I got some music in the Making of a Bad Boy Diddy show, which is interesting. But they used a lot of my darking titles with the word dark in it for some reason. So I don't know if that was intentional or what, but you see they use 47 seconds in one scene, 48 seconds in another scene of another song, and then 23 seconds. This one, I didn't have a track titled cues, so they might have bundled some cues together in this one here. Let's go down to college football game here. Coronation. This is Nebraska Cornhuskers at Ohio State Buckeyes. That title, I think, might have been what drew them to that. But 5 seconds, 47 cents. So no rhyme or reason. Let's go down. You see Darkness on the Horizon. What I also like to do sometimes is I take this spreadsheet here and I take all these, I highlight everything and then I throw it into like a Google sheet and I rearrange it so that all the titles are in alphabetical order. And then that way I can see which ones are being used the most and I can try to create more in that style. So if I see Darkness on the Horizon being used, 100 times per quarter, I can be like, okay, let me go ahead and make like 3 or 4 more in the same vein so that I can capitalize on the ones that's getting me $41 and $24, and that stuff starts to add up over time. My statement is currently only 14 pages. I know people that are getting 50 and 100 pages statements, so I'm working up towards that slowly but surely. All right, this was used on the Catfish. I have most of my placements are from Catfish, and that's from one specific library that I work with, that works directly with the team. So you'll see I have a lot of Catfish placements here, these different episodes, and a lot of them re-air, whether it's overseas or in different streaming platforms. So that starts to add up to 24 here, 14 there, 34 there, 10, 12, $6, $5. So it's little bits and pieces that add up to what eventually will be a big pie. In this case, it was thousands and thousands of dollars. All right, so let's go down again. Catfish, you start seeing that darkness on the horizon. And then for one particular library, I have different mixes. So they might not use the full mix at one part, but they'll use the no drum mix or the percussion mix or the no piano. So I have a bunch of these different options. So one full song, if I have a full instrumental, these are all instrumental so far, could have in some cases 10 to 20 different versions, or alt mixes is what they're called in sync. Okay, so that's Catfish. I have a lot of there for all the world, and I can also take the instrumental of these and I can put them into something like TuneSat. I can take the instrumental, put it in TuneSat, and then TuneSat will give me like an audio version of how it was used in that show. Or I can take it to something like traqk.io, and it'll give me like a video, an image clip. It might be low quality, but at least I'll have the visual of like, hey, here's how this song was used in the context of this show. You do have to pay for those platforms. I think TuneSat has a free version where you can upload 50 songs at once, and then after that you have to pay. All right, let's keep going. In that case, that all added up to $500. Pretty decent. But again, that's all the little micro, $11 here. There's some good ones, 50, a couple 50s there that add up over time. So we have MTV Real World Road Rules. This is an old show. I think this was early 2000s, late 90s. So this is all syndication. I don't know if there's a new version of this on MTV. I doubt it. But I did at one point have placements on those shows back in the day. Before I even knew what sync was, I just signed a terrible deal, gave a bunch of beats to a bunch of people. But in this case, I believe this one is with a new library because I can tell when I have versions like this. I wasn't doing versioning back then. So this might be a re-syndicated with different cues in there, or it might be an updated version like they're bringing the show back. I don't really know. But in that case, it was 27 cents for 20 seconds back on the instrumental. The Nat Geo. So this is full disclosure. I do work at National Geographic by day, but this is totally separate from me getting placements on shows and things. I work in the AVIT. So this is through a sync library that I have these here. I think this is another library because this title, I believe, is a song with vocals. Pickup Truck is $10 for the Northward Survival, and then actually that was used 3 times. It adds up to $11 total. So grand, yeah. But in the same episode, it was used 3 times, 46 seconds, I believe, each time. Or it might be, let me check, different channels. So it might be that it was used this time. But ironically, I don't see this one up here. It might be bundling all that together. So, but 46 seconds, it aired on Nat Geo and also Nat Geo Wild. Then we have Making of a Bad Boy again, the same 3 cues we saw before. This time it aired on Oxygen. Then we have MILF Manor on TLC, using this track, 5 seconds and 62 cents. So, we're gonna keep going. TV1, Fatal Attraction, a lot of things on that one. I believe these are underscore tension cues that I did for a library. Looming underneath, agitation within, foreboding figures, unnerving moments. Pennies to the dollar here. We have some that's over $1, but again, those things add up. And it tells you the episodes. I'll do another. I know people have done this before, but I'll do another episode in this podcast where I'll show you how I take this statement and add it to IMDb, so my credits show up on IMDb. But that will be another episode. Maybe the next episode. All right, so we have TV1 Fatal Attraction, Unnerving Moments. Tells me the title of the actual show, the episode. Then we have Agitation Within, Rashawn Jackson, Rhyme of Revenge. Again, that adds up to $10 here. Then we're going to go to Dateline NBC again. We saw that up top, but this is from TV1. We also have some wrestling stuff. This is actually from a library that I did some music for, was it 2 years ago? A year or 2 ago. And it used some vocals. So in this case, female vocals. And pretty decent on that one, $46, and pretty decent on this one also, $47. So that looks like 2 different airings, 2 different episodes, and over a minute and a half almost for each one. So that's pretty good. I might have to find that one. And what I would like to do is Sometimes if I see this, like, okay, let me see if I can track down snippets, especially if it's being used over a minute in these shows. Or even close to like 30, 40 seconds, because that's, you use that as sort of the visual evidence and use it for marketing and things like that. And in this case, it added up to $100. Then we have Love and Hip Hop. These are pretty decent for 42 seconds, $76 on VH1. That's pretty decent. And then also the 48 there for Love and Hip Hop Miami. That's 27 seconds. So that's pretty decent. That adds up to $100 so there. Then we have some totals here, 827. So you start seeing stuff add up over time. So that's why when I see people in my Facebook group, if you're not in my Facebook group, join the Facebook group. I'll include links in the description that have BMI or royalty statements of $20,000, $30,000 per quarter, meaning it's adding up to over $100,000 per year, 120, 150,000 per year. So that stuff starts to add up as it compounds over time. It's almost like investing in your music career. As you create a song, get it into sync, and just let it start investing, almost like stocks. It's like musical stock. All right, let's keep going. U.S. performances, local television. We have Slowly Escaping, another Dateline thing, 78 cents in this case. That contrasting to what was up top. Remember, that was way more than 78 cents. Then we have this again, 17 cents. And then 95 grand total there, 95 cents. We have some Amazon Prime stuff. So this is, it doesn't tell me, I don't think this is a show. I think this might be, I don't know where it was used. So it doesn't tell me if it's a show or anything. It might just be audio. It does say internet audio, but 1 cent. So there you go. Creepy Christmas. Then we have 2 cents here for Creepy Christmas and Nobody. I think these are old instrumentals that I had. I have no idea. I have to do some research there. But you start seeing Nobody. I see that a couple times. Pennies to the dollar. That adds up. Royal Clock, Sovereign Grant. These are neoclassical trailer tracks that I did for a library. So somehow they're getting spun up on Apple Verizon. I don't know what Winbook in IND is. I have to look that one up. But that is Nobody again. We have Free Gold Music. Again, these are tracks that I have in another library. This is sort of like fantasy orchestral stuff. So 6 cents there, Pandora. So this is all audio stuff. People are spending these and listening to them at some, maybe on these platforms, or maybe it's playing in a commercial. Then we have Spotify, a lot of energy. Again, these two are, I think these three. Actually, I think all of these are vocals. Maybe not Nobody. Are vocals that Nobody's getting spun a lot. Maybe I would look into that if it was a little bit more than 17 cents, 24 cents. But that's $1.36 there. Then we're going to go to internet audio visual. So this basically means things that might be streaming on platforms, but we have all black. We have the Braxtons. So I have 68 cents there, 142. That's 210. City of Shadows, Dark City, Dark Side of the City. We have Bad Girls Club, which again was an old show. Mind Your Business, that's actually a really old beat of mine. One Night in Mexico, so that's getting me 4 cents. We have Catfish again. You see all the Catfish stuff. Catfish has been sort of the breadwinner for me over the last at least 2 quarters, probably 3, maybe even almost over the last year, where those little bits tend to add up. Breadwinner, maybe not on the financial side, but definitely on the placement side, where I'm getting the most there, and they're going to start to add up over time, as you've been seeing in the statement. Then we have Impact New York. I have no idea what that is, but Gritty Reality is on there, 1 cent. Love and Hip Hop, I have a couple of those. You saw Miami earlier. Then we have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I ain't there to play with no vocal, meaning that is a song. I don't really remember how that sounds. Then I have some are bundled into these queues here. And this right here, I get 25% of this. So this is 3 cents. So multiply that times 4. That was 12 cents altogether. But there are some collaborators on that. So maybe there's maybe 3 singers, songwriters on there, but it splits up into 4. So I see that on there a couple times. Sold on SLC. I saw that up there before. Again, I own 50% of that. So I get 1 cent. The other person gets 1 cent. We get 2 cents total. So Real Life, I have some of that. City of Shadows, Dark Side of the City. That's all Braxton's. Let's see what else we have. So we have more internet audio visual. This is on Amazon now, video on demand. We have BET Plus, Impact New York. I haven't watched that. Kingdom Business. I have underscore Q on there. Then I have another Love and Hip Hop Miami. That all adds to a grand total of 14 cents, or 405 up here for everything. Then we have Discovery Plus. This is MILF Manor, 2 cents there. I think I had another one up top. On that show as well. Then we have Discovery Plus here. Disney Plus, we have America's Most Wanted. We have Catfish, which is surprising. I didn't know that was on Disney. So a lot of these shows, they might air on different streaming platforms, on different channels. They might be in syndication in another country. They might be, we'll get to international in a little bit, and you'll see how those add up. But this is, America's Most Wanted. Catfish, as I mentioned, sort of the the top show that's using a lot of my cues. Then we have Dress My Tour, and I haven't watched a lot of these shows. I'll tell you what I did. I tried to watch Catfish one time, one of the episodes that had like, let's say it was this one, but it had like a bunch of my cues in it, and I was listening to it and watching it, and I couldn't really um, figure out. Hold on, my wife's texting me. Um, so I couldn't really figure out. I listened to the episode. It was like 30, no, it was like a 45-minute, 1 hour episode, and I couldn't hear my music. Like I heard a bunch of cues. It's like it sounds like something I would make, but at that point I made it like a year ago, and sent it to the library. So I was just like, you know what? If they catch it on BMI, then great, and I get a couple quarters or dollars or hundreds of dollars or $1,000, then great. So Dress My Tour, Gritty Reality. Then we have America's Most Wanted here on Hulu. Timing is Everything. That was used for 9 seconds. Let me see what was used the most here. In this case, we have some of these 1 minute cues: Darkness, Eye in the Sky, Uncertain Twists. These are clocking in at a minute. It's pretty decent as far as usage time. Again, Catfish, you see that all over the place. A minute here, 30 seconds, once just around the corner. So I might do some more of these. I have a lot of these sort of, this is all underscore tension type music. I have a lot of those out in the world. I'll probably do more of those because I typically do one of those albums in a day. So I just sit down, lock in, and get it out to the world. That's all 86 for Hulu. 5 cents for Max, Chaos Unleashed, That's Milf Manor again, Netflix. So let's get into Netflix. Singles Inferno. That was on 36-second usage, $20. It's pretty decent for 36 seconds. 15 seconds here, $5. Looks like a different episode for 6. Then we have some more Netflix stuff. Paramount Plus, Aerial Adventures, California Dreamin'. That was 1 minute, and it clocks in at 31 seconds. We have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Miami. Again, a little under $1 there, then 18 cents there. Then let's go down to internet audio visuals. So we have Paramount Plus, a couple of Love and Hip Hop Miami cues here. Barely adding up to much, but again, it starts to compound. You get hundreds of these. Then we have Real World. I'm not sure, again, as I mentioned earlier, if these are what is it called? Syndicated shows, and they're putting new cues in there because maybe their license is expired on old shows, or if it's a new version of these old shows. But these shows came out like in the, 90s, early 2000s. Real World Road Rules Challenge. I know that this cue particular is a new cue, so I didn't make that one like in the early 2000s. Let's go to Peacock. One Night in Mexico, Bad Girls Club. This title is an old title for my catalog, so that might be from the terrible deal I found years ago. But hey, it's being used. It's getting me 32 cents. We have Eyes in the Dark. Again, we have this. This is the third time we're seeing this on the statement on a different channel. So again, you start seeing this add up 3 times. So you see Darkest Times here. That's what, almost $400 from this this show, from 3 cues, 47 seconds, 48 seconds, and 23 seconds. So that stuff starts to add up when you get the right things aligned. So I might go in here and say, okay, let me see what these sound like. Maybe I'll make another version of these, or make longer versions, as I mentioned earlier. We have Real Housewives of Potomac here a couple of times. Sold on SLC. We've seen that on a couple of other channels up top. Then we have Martha's Vineyard, Got the Grid Locked, Dark Side of the City here, another WWE SmackDown. Now this is interesting because remember I had this for WWE SmackDown up top in 2 locations, and they were significantly more than $1.06. So you start to analyze, and if you want, I probably wouldn't do this. You could probably copy this, throw it into GPT, and say, hey, analyze these statements. Let me know, what do you see? Help me analyze this to break down, the biggest winners, biggest earners, how things are being used, what songs being used the most. Maybe you can do it in ChatGPT. I probably won't do that, but just an idea as I'm thinking out loud. Okay, let's keep going. Tubi, Gold Bar Heist, Timing is Everything, America's Most Wanted. Then we have Bad Girls Club, One Night in Mexico. So a lot of these are the same show. It's just they whatever license that the show or the channel has, they might put it on these other platforms. So it might be on cable TV, but then it might be on streaming, then it might be international somewhere. And then the WWE World Tour stuff. So all this adds up to 500. The bulk of it being probably that those making of Bad Boy placements there. So that's interesting. Then we're going to go to other sources. This is I have no idea what this is. I think National Cable TV Association. So I don't know what shows or channels these are, but they add up to just under $10 or around $10 there. So I have 16 right there. This is this is a promo for Survivor. So both of these are Survivor promos. So that adds up to about $63-ish. Then I have some serious I don't know what this is. TV shows, 39 cents. Then we have this one actually. is a artist that I work with. And one thing I didn't mention is that because I did a song with him. He's a Spanish artist. So this looks like some type of maybe live performance. So if you are working with artists and they are performing their music live, make sure they register with their PRO that they're performing live. There are uh, payments that can be made to artists when they perform live. And if you are part owner of that song, you should also get a payment of that. I don't know if that's exactly what this is, but that's what I'm looking at it as. Maybe he did some type of live show or thing, 9 cents. And of course that all adds up here, 79. Then we'll go to international performances audio. So we're in international now. In some of these countries. So Australia, Hungary, Poland, and I can see what sounds and songs are being used out there. Pretty decent, add up to 100 some dollars there, mostly from this Against the Wall track. So maybe I'll listen to that and be like, okay, let me see what's resonating here with people in Poland, and let me try to do more of that. And then we have some shows airing over across the pond, or if that is the case, Australia. Queen's Jubilee, I believe, is a neoclassical trailer thing. Appears to be a film. Is this a film? I don't know if that was a film. Married at First Sight, maybe it's a film. Brazil, we have some, doesn't tell me the exact shows here, so, or the exact cues or songs that I created. Denmark has Chaos Unleashed, 6 cents, so I'll take it. Then we have a lot more Denmark here. Let's see what this adds up to. We have the MILF Manor, Chaos. Then we have Mexico. Actually, we just have that one for Denmark. Mexico, we have one, two, three. Sorry, we have three here for Mexico. Norway, we have. Actually, this is interesting. This is shout out to Jade Josephine. This is a collaboration I have with Jade Josephine. So that got 12 cents over in Norway. We have Chaos Unleashed. Then we have Panama, so Norway, United Kingdom, UK. Shout out to London. I've been there. Team's been out there 3 times, 4 times this year. Just been doing a lot of projects in the UK. As you can see, Bad Girls Club there, Catfish, Dress My Tour, Last Passenger. I don't know what that is. Oh, the film. I might have to watch that one, but I only got 44 seconds or 44 cents. I don't know how long this cue was used. Then we have Married at First Sight, another film. I think that was up top as well. Then we have The Real Housewives of Potomac. That was up top, but all that adds up to just under $100. We're almost done. 2 more pages. You can see sort of a breakdown, international performance summary, the BMI live thing, cable, internet. So it gives you a breakdown if you wanted to do a quick summary, royalty amount, total earnings. Let's go to international performances summary here. Again, more of a breakdown, countries. So if I can say, hey, my music has been heard in Australia, Brazil, Denmark, Hungary, Mexico, Norway, Panama, Poland, UK, you can use that as sort of a thing. And then last but not least, we have a Facebook thing. I did work with Facebook on creating a trailer music for one of their meta games last year, called Thrill of the Fight. Thrill of the Fight 2, which came out, I believe, last year. Did the trailer for that. But yeah, Facebook 2H. I don't know what that is, but they used Legend of the Ancient Lands, which I believe is another fantasy orchestral thing, and that added up to $31. And that is my quarterly statement for BMI as of, I believe this was the August statement of 2025. So start to add all that stuff up. I think it clocked in at several thousand for the quarter. And then you start seeing that compound over time. And of course, multiply that. I can't really multiply that times 4 because I don't know what the next quarter will be. So if I start seeing like an average over time, I can say, okay, now, and then keep putting music out there. I know a collaborator who I reached out to this week because of seeing him on one of the tracks he created was the top used track on Sync Match. Check out my episode where I interviewed Jesse Josephson about Sync Match. But a track that he created was synced over 5,000 times in a month. So last month, one of his tracks, it was the highest sync track according to Sync Match, and had over 5,000 placements. So just from one track. So I'll do another episode showing how I go into IMDb. There's plenty of people that also show how to do this, but I'll do my version of it and take these credits and put them into IMDb. That might be the next episode that I do like in a few minutes. But yeah, this is me going over my BMI royalty statement for this last quarter. Some interesting shows on here. I would say for me, ones that I would definitely look out for are the ones that are hitting that $50 mark. Obviously, anything over 100 is pretty decent. And maybe making more of that. So that $50, and then also keeping track of what's being used the longest, like over a minute. And then finding out, okay, going back and doing my research, figuring out what libraries I have these songs in. So if I go through, let's see here, let me see one that has like a lot. I know there was the 50s are not bad. So if I see Uncertain Twist or Eye in the Sky, these are just different mixed versions. I know that's with the library, so I can go back and say, okay, let me see what album this is on. Let me just go ahead and make more of those for that project. Or because that stuff added up to over 500. Let me go back to, this is over 800. Let me see which was And I have a quarter of this, so multiply that times 4, that's almost $200 for these. So I can go back and listen to these and say, okay, let me make more of these versions and get those out into the world because that's getting me a lot. Or let me make more of this. This is actually still more tension underscore stuff, and that's getting me, you know, uh, so it starts to add up over time. You're getting $75, $100. The penny ones they're decent. Again, that also adds to the overall total. But those ones that are clocking in at, 80, 90, 100, I would say 50 and above are definitely worth taking, just analyzing a little bit deeper, and just let the other stuff build up over time. All right, that is just how I think about going through my BMI statement, as I get those over every quarter. Again, I'm at 14 pages here. I know people that are at 50, 100 pages, and they're getting 20, 30,000 a quarter. So working my way towards that, slowly but surely, Lord willing. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Also, check out the resources I have available for Sync, including some free Sync panels that I've done at conferences. That'll be the first link, I believe. If you want to talk about Sync, I do offer some consulting for Sync. We can chat about Sync if you have any questions. And then also, I'm launching a school community, so you can find information about that in